Hi, this is Curtis Everett from Saint Studios Films. I wanted to tell you about a project that we have in the editing room right now. So the film is called Mockingbird. It is indeed another adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird, the beloved book by Harper Lee. Now, this book should have gone into public domain in 1988, but somehow Harper Lee managed to just indefinitely extend the copyright, extend the trademark. I think she piggybacked on something called the Mickey Mouse Law. You know, that's what we referred to it in business school. But the Mickey Mouse Law, it was like the creator's life plus 25 years. And then when it got to that, so they said, okay, well, let's make it more 35 years, 45 years. So I think somehow she was able to tap into that, which is why she only really released one book and was able to live on that her entire career. Toward the end of her life, they did release Go Set a Watchman, which she wrote as a prequel before she wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. But, that book did not capture the heart of the audience as much as To Kill a Mockingbird did. For me, To Kill a Mockingbird is the most important fictional story ever told. It has a lot to do with growing up, relationships with other people, and being able to identify with someone even though you may not come from the same background as them. The very unfortunate thing about To Kill a Mockingbird is it's fading from the public's perception. And why is that, you might say? Well, okay, so the book is being taken off of reading lists at schools. So no longer are they reading it at school. A lot of it has to do with the coarse racial language in the book, spoken mainly by the antagonists. But then also it's on banned lists. It's one of those banned books, and there's a lot of great books that are on that list. So that's unfortunate that, the book is not being read by as many people. So the movie is a fabulous movie. It won a few Oscars, has an Oscar-winning performance from Gregory Peck. It's a masterpiece, but it's in black and white. So only 10% of people my age are going to watch a black and white movie. And then, younger than me, nobody's going to watch a black and white movie. Just, the numbers go down. And so it was also on Broadway. So Scott Rudin is a producer, and he took that to Broadway. But unfortunately, a few years ago, Scott Rudin was kind of ousted out of Hollywood because everybody said, this guy's so mean. And so that play, they made such a big deal about how the Scott Rudin, Aaron Sorkin script for the adaptation, that was like the Bible for To Kill a Mockingbird. So all local playhouses that were putting this on, they were forced to use that script. Otherwise, they couldn't put it on, which I thought was a little bit absurd, considering the fact that Scott Rudin and Aaron Sorkin wanted to completely change the location and the time period of the original source material. But then the Harper Lee, her trust, they stepped in and said, you can't do that. You can't change the integrity of this project, which is great, that they, stood up to Scott Rudin. Anyway, I have right here, I have a picture of my grandfather. So this is my grandfather, and he's on the set of The Horse Soldiers with William Holden, who's a movie star, a big movie star. He had the option to get his picture with John Wayne, but my grandfather was not a big fan of John Wayne, but he thought William Holden was pretty cool. My grandfather, his name is Herman Moore, and he passed away in 2014, but To Kill a Mockingbird was his favorite movie. And so this is why I have made this movie. By the way, the movie's already made. It's already shot. I shot it in 2022, and we spent a lot of time on it then. The reason it has been in the editing room so long is because the production of the Mockingbird movie in 2022 coincided with a separation I had at the time. I was still married at the time. And so in my mind, I attributed this project to the demise of my marriage. And so for a while, it was kind of painful for me to work on it because, it just bad memories, I should say. But I was finally able to distance this project and get hyped up about it again, and distance, you know, because I'm divorced now, and so to distance this project from my divorce, I was able to wrap my head around it. And so now Mockingbird is in the editing room. It's almost done. I was trying to get it done for my grandmother's 95th birthday that she had this past weekend. But I told her, I went and saw her, and I said, I'm probably going to need at least 2 more weeks, at least, to get it completely done. Right now, I'm trying to see if there's anything that can be done for audio in certain scenes. It was my fault. My ex-wife had moved out, and I was distraught. And so a few days later, we went and shot in the courtroom, and I was not prepared. I didn't have anything charged up. I forgot a few items. And so we made do with whatever we had. And so the audio, I'm trying to see if I can repair some of the audio on a few of those shots. I really don't want to have to do ADR. If I have to, I will, but I'm hoping there's something that can be done, that the audio for those particular sequences can be run through a wizard, and kind of repaired a little bit. So I'm waiting to hear back from a few people about that. This project, so the reason I'm calling it Mockingbird is because obviously we made it with no money. And so I'm hoping someday to redo this project and do it again. And, hopefully I'll have more money behind me and, have more people involved. The reason I chose to make it in 2022 is because I felt like for what I was doing and the amount of people that I collaborated with, I was at the top of my game. And I actually timed it pretty well because, I was doing really well for myself. The production for Mockingbird actually was simultaneous to another adaptation called Points of Origin for Darden North. And so that was actually a high point, of my filmmaking career. I got a chance to adapt that book as well. So I was doing two great projects simultaneously to each other, filming way too much at the same time. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Mockingbird and what's been going on with it. I'm really excited to show it to you. It's nearly done, and I'm probably going to cut another trailer. The first trailer that I cut, I put it out on the internet just to kind of get some feelers and just see if, I would have any legal pushback or anything. But this story is so precious. It is something that does not need to be forgotten. I have made this movie in honor of my grandfather, Herman Moore, and it's a matter of cultural preservation, and I do not plan to make any money from it. I'm going to be putting it out for free to watch on YouTube and sharing that link around. So I'm hoping whenever I get the movie out that you'll watch it, you'll share it, and copy the link over to your loved ones. We changed very little about the source material. Any of the changes that we made were strictly because of budgetary or scheduling reasons. I couldn't have the child actors out after dark, and do a bunch of night scenes. So we try to get as creative as possible with, how to retool a few of those scenes. But there's certain characters maybe that are downplayed in our version a little bit more than they were in the previous film adaptation. And by no means are we trying to one-up that adaptation. It's flawless. It's a perfect movie, and Gregory Peck is timeless in that role. We're just doing our best to make a remake that's in color, so that more people will watch it and appreciate the storyline, and that the story will continue to speak to people, for years to come. Anyway, be on the lookout for Mockingbird. I'd say give me about 2 or 3 weeks.